Hi, my name is Henry and I'm the co-founder of Sult, and we have made £225,000 in the first 6 months of building Sult.
This is Henry, an entrepreneur who's built a $50,000 per month hydration business working from his kitchen. And my name is Simon Squibb. And over the last 35 years, I've built 19 companies and invested over 80 startups. And my present company, HelpBank, is valued at over $50 million. In this episode, Henry is going to share the exact steps that he took to start his business with no investment, which has turned over $300,000 in the last 6 months. And I'm going to give him the steps he needs to take it to the next level. Let's go learn. Just tell us where it all began.
So it began over a year ago now, is where I had just like pretty much a notepad, but it's pretty much just like loose ideas where I wanted this potential brand to go. And I then just took the punt. I was like, right, I'm going to document it online on Instagram. Like, I've left my job to start a business, XYZ. Then I bumped into you. I was literally walking with my friend and my friend said, that's Simon Squibb. And I was like, no, it's not. And I was like, right, hold my camera. Went up to you, pitched to you. And then you were like, go for it.
Oh, I'm Henry. Oh, hi, Henry. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Secondly, I'd love to show you something that I'm
Oh, okay, sure, go on, man.
It gave you 5 minutes, just like 2 minutes of time.
2 minutes, no problem.
2?
No
1
problem.
minute, brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a brand at the moment. It's an electrolyte company. So I've been building it in public slowly, showing the journey of like building a brand name, what I did, trademarking, all this kind of stuff.
Amazing. This is amazing.
And then since that point onwards, we just completely doubled down on all the business side of things, documented the whole thing in public, showing pretty much everything we can about how to build a business, the good, the bad, the ugly. And yeah, since then, it's just been going from strength to strength. And here we are now.
So I just want to get into some of the nitty gritty. This isn't glamorous and it shouldn't be made out to be glamorous, but it is fun.
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Of course you can.
You know, and it feels like learning at speed.
It's like being at school, but everything is just amazing.
Let's just quickly talk about the money, because people might not know, I know, you started this with very little.
Yeah.
So how much money did you have when you started this?
So Millie and I both put in 10,000 quid.
Which in America, based on inflation, is about $12,000.
Now we did that out of our savings. That was basically money that I saved and was pretty much like the whole, like, this will be my house, like deposit one day and keep saving. I thought, you know what, let's put it into a business. Same with Millie. So we both put in 10,000. That got us to launch. So that was with product, website, everything. So that was about £17,000.
£17,000. And you had how much product? You had enough product. You had some sample products, yeah?
Yeah, that got us to
well
day
done.
one. Yeah, it's a very lean.
And what did you build a Shopify store?
Yeah.
So you did all of this
for £0.
Product, amazing. So you started with 17 grand.
Yeah.
You built a Shopify store. You had some products in hand. So then what? Tell me a little bit more about the money side.
So then we launched day one. That's April the 15th. And we did, I'm not spending on this, we did 15K in 2 hours. I've never had a feeling like it. You know, seeing people who've been following us buy our products, just saying like ding, ding, I was like, oh my God.
And this wasn't just friends?
No, this was, we had a waiting list of 15,000.
Oh, waiting list.
Yeah, so during all the marketing we did, we sort of intently drove everyone to a waiting list and email.
Right. So how many on your waiting list?
It was about 15,000 or so when we launched.
Right. And that's just from doing we are launching a product.
That was just doing our stupid marketing, like drawing like the mock review and that kind of stuff.
And the waiting list, how many people converted into actual orders?
I won't be able to say the exact figure, but it was probably like 5% or so.
Okay, and how long did you do the waiting list before you launched?
Probably 2 months.
So you did 2 months. So
yeah.
Okay. And were you working in this time? Did you have income?
Yeah. So I do consulting on the side. I don't do it anymore, but that's how I basically paid rent, put food on the table.
So again, for people listening, you know, if you don't have 10 grand, you can go do a service business, make this money and then invest. But this isn't a lot of money in the big picture of things. Someone listening to this right now might be thinking £17,000.
Look, I'm 28. Think about if you're 18, whatever, and you start saving, 20 quid, put in S&P, whatever, you will get that within not that many years.
How about finding the product? How did you find the product?
Generally, that's one of the easiest misunderstood parts of business. You can literally go into Google and type in box manufacturer, cardboard manufacturer. Go find, found on LinkedIn, hey mate, love your product, smooths them, starting a new brand. Do you mind sharing who does your boxes? It's the easiest thing ever.
Co-founder.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about this. How did you make that relationship work? I know you met on Tinder or something.
Met on Hinge, yeah.
Did you do 50-50 from day one?
Not from day one.
So what have you done?
So we are 50-50 now, but it didn't start like that. Being very transparent, we told everyone this. It was my idea. I went with Millie. I said, like, look, I want to do this with you. You're the most incredible storyteller. I've not got that. You've also got an incredible audience that's so loyal to you. Why don't we do it together? and we leverage each other's skill set. She was literally like, yeah, bam. And I said, look, just to protect myself, let's start you off with 25%. And then after like 6 months, we'll then make it half because like, I want you to be just as empowered as me in this company. Now we're 50-50. And yeah, it's the skill set that I don't have and she has. And that's the thing about finding a founder.
This 50-50 partnership, you do never want to make people feel like they're inferior to you. And they will therefore work less than you and eventually care less
100%.
than you. What stood out to me and made me think instantly, this is going to work, was the fact you actually had your name trademarked and you thought about the brand first.
Yeah.
I think people need to actually think what the brand stands for, because a lot of brands become more than one product.
100%.
And I asked you, when you told me you had the name Sult, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
My first instinct is, do you have the trademark?
Yeah.
And you said yes.
Yeah.
First of all, can you trademark it?
I've got it trademarked already.
You got the actual trademark
Trademark.
on the UK trademark registration.
Yeah, IP office.
Wow.
That's all done already.
So you must have been thinking about this for quite a while. Getting a trademark takes about 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been weirdly obsessed with business, like reading a load of books. And obviously the beautiful thing about ChatGPT is you can literally write, I'm starting a business, what do I need to do? And it literally tells you exactly what to do. You know, it's easy to create a brand. It's easy to focus on product, but it's really hard to create something meaningful about the brand. You know,
Right.
What does Nike mean to you? It's that feeling that it gives off, right? It's Sult. Sult now gives off more than a product. It's a feeling of two people killing themselves, trying to create a cool brand, documenting it in public. The product's awesome. It's not just, it's an electrolyte company. It's everything else it says about you, which is something I really was focusing on from the very start.
I'm going to steal one of your early lessons. And tell me if this is right. The first lesson people need to think about is the brand and what it means, the story of the
100%.
brand. Now, product's important, and I know you've spent a lot of time on this product,
Yeah.
but the brand story. So where did the brand story of Salt come from?
So the brand story, or I guess like the why of the brand, is that we're moving in this like kind of odd time of our lives where hustle culture is glamorized. Everyone's like an athlete or wannabe athlete. When we are trying to basically step back, and balance is a word I hate, but it's true. Keep fit and healthy, but enjoy yourself. Go to bed if you want to, wake up when you want to, go for a walk. Don't have to go for a 10K run. Then it came about with like, how can we create a sexy brand like Trip CBD drinks? CBD is an unglamorous, gloopy green product. They repackaged it, made it sexy, and made the education around it super easy. And we're using them as a really good sort of like North Star, if you like to call it.
That's another good thing for people to think about. Like, what is the benchmark that you look to when building your business?
I think that's so key. When you have an idea of a business, look at your North Star brand. Where do you want to be in 5 years? How have they done it?
All right, what was the second thing you think you learned that people need to know?
Second thing is saying this very bluntly, just crack on and do it. The thing is, you know,
Which is what I said to you when I
Literally,
met you. Yeah, you
But
had the idea, the ingredients, literally, and you just weren't pulling the trigger. So what was stopping you pulling the trigger? Because people will hear that, they were like, "Oh God, I've heard that so many times. Just do it." But what was it that kind of you said, "Right, I am going to do it"?
it's such like a cliche thing to do and say, but it's like, you know, that classic entrepreneur, like just go and grind it. The most lessons you'll learn is when you just actually launch it.
Yeah.
You can go back and forth a million times, making it a little bit better, a little bit cooler, whatever you want to do. Until you launch it, you have no idea what you're doing.
Put it in front of a customer.
100%.
Because and if you don't, you're never going to know the true feedback. Because if you adjust it, that's your opinion.
It's called like the mum's test. You know, if your mum looks at it, she's obviously going to be like, this looks cool because it's your son, right? She wants to make you happy. Put it in front of a random man. He's going to go, colour's weird, tastes like
Yeah.
Or they say, this is awesome, love the packaging, flavour's beautiful.
Right.
You don't know that until you've done it. So just crack on with it.
And these days, just do it has never been easier either. I mean, what does just do it mean? And I think you've got a case on this. It's like start posting. We have Shopify, luckily sponsoring this video and supporting us. And if anyone doesn't know, Shopify is a powerful set of tools that helps you start and manage your business, whether online or in person. How has Shopify benefited your business?
Our whole website is built on Shopify. We did it with my friend in about 2 weeks, zero cost, zero code. I'm not techie, it was simple. Now we literally do all of our data through Shopify regarding when the best time to post a video is, our emails, it's all based on the best rate sales on Shopify. Pretty much the backbone of all of our decision making.
Have you heard of Sidekick? I've been playing around with it on Shopify.
No, what's that?
I've got to show you this. I've been describing this as like your AI business partner to people. What is wrong
Sorry
with
about
you?
that.
It's okay. So for example, look at this. Right, so go into your Shopify and we use this amazing tool. And basically, I'm going to type in, what's the best day of the week to push an email campaign for sales, right? So instantly, it analyzes it all for you and tells you the Monday is the day to really push. That's when you're getting your most amount of sales, then Tuesday, then Saturday.
So I pretty much base the emails around those days.
It's telling you when to do your email campaigns, and it's even giving you the times. Of course, it never ends. You can now ask it what sort of campaigns are going to be most effective based on the data that is found on the back end of your system. This has blown my mind. Start your trial today by going and visiting shopify.co.uk/Simon Squibb. right now. You won't regret it. Be like Henry and start a business with next to no money. There's never been an easier way to just do it than now,
100%.
thanks to the phone in your hand.
And that's what's good about these two first things here. I'm not an expert by any means, but doing that is easier than ever, but doing that's hard. So then this allows you to differentiate yourself. Anybody can create content, right? But no one can create a brand. So you've got to be special to create a brand.
And the way you have just done it is an important lesson for people too, because you have made the brand by the way you've just done it. So how you do the just do it is also important.
100%.
So you have decided to be totally transparent, share the grind, the hardness of it, the upsides, the downsides. And I think that just do it strategy applies then for the brand to have, it resonates with people. Okay, so just do it. What was next? What else have you learned so far people need to know?
So I think it's, honestly, don't take things personally. I think someone like me, I was getting stuck with these two things together. I took everything so personally. I was scared to death about failing. I was basically stuck in my own head so much. I guess that's probably why don't get stuck in your head. I guess it's the same sort of thing here. And for you to post that first video, for me to post that first video, for me to think about, right, I'm going to actually document this in public. It was me being so scared of what other people thought, when actually no one cares. Only the people who care are people who actually deeply love you and your fans who actually want you to do well. But so many people just see you and they just flick by. Whereas in my head, I'm thinking, oh, he's looking at this. They think my brand product's crap. What am I doing? How embarrassing. When that's
especially if you
true.
might fail, that's another thing. It's not in public, people will see you fail.
And that still terrifies me now.
But I think it's kind of exciting because I always think, okay, let's say you failed, right? Which isn't going to happen. But let's say you do. But honestly, like, wow, what a journey. And you let everyone come on that journey with you. Like, that is not failing.
I think it's reframing it.
Yeah.
So like, what is failure?
Right.
As in, what is failure to you?
Well, failure to me is not to do it.
Yeah.
If I have an idea, I'm launching Dream Brew, a drinks brand, right? I've been planning it for a year.
Yeah.
I am scared about it, but I don't want to be 90 and regret not having tried to do it.
Yeah.
That's my idea of failure. If I get to 90 and I didn't do an idea that I had, I didn't at least try, that is failure. Not doing it and failing, that is success.
Yeah.
I tried, right? And of course, you've got to give it your best shot.
100%.
Apply yourself.
Yeah.
But man, that's not failure if you don't make it.
100%.
So what did you learn next?
So next thing is, I actually think this really applies to what you say as well. It's like, build your tribe, build the people around you. You're only so good as yourself. And I'm terrible at literally 95% of the business. I have no idea what I'm doing. But when you find the right people who can help you out, people who give you advice, it could be, your friend's dad who's a successful businessman, your mate who's an accountant who can help you with numbers. I can't do numbers. I'm dyslexic. I don't understand it.
Asking for help is so hard for us.
Yeah.
But it is the key. And you look at, like, Steve Jobs talked about how he rang up the Atari, he rang up Atari founder and said, can I have some parts?
Yeah.
You'd be shocked how helpful people will be. Yeah, just ask. People are going to say sod off. They're going to say no.
But do you know what's crazy? No one has. Not a single person's been like, no. Everyone's been like, of course, mate.
Yeah.
It might be like a couple of days.
Yeah.
But everybody, I believe, is actually wanting to help.
Well, I think the other thing about help, the thing I advise people is, if you ask people for help, you've got to be open to having a different opinion to you. So you've got to be able to basically ignore some of their help.
Yeah.
Advice in particular. Right. Sometimes with advice, it might not fit your background, your personality, or what you're trying to do. So you've got to take advice with a pinch of salt. But I think the important thing is you only ask advice from people whose life you want.
That's literally my next point.
Yeah. Okay. Write that down then. Let's write that down.
So my next thing is, when I first started, this was before I met you. This was right at the start. I went on LinkedIn, I messaged loads of people, loads of advisors, loads of investors. And I said, look, I've got this idea. And if I was to tell them what I was doing, every single thing was like, Sult, stupid name. Don't call it Sult. Right. That color, not a good color. They wanted 10 grand for 15% of the company. And I was so close to signing it. I would have shot myself in the foot if I did that. Everything that has made this company what it is has been from ignoring all of that advice.
Accept my advice, just to add.
No, but it's one of those things where, as you said, like, I was looking at these people and I was like, you're not someone who's going to buy my product. You work for an accounting firm. Yeah, you're very successful, but you're not someone who I want to align with. So finding the right advice, or just don't take it and go with your gut.
Yeah.
I think too many of us are stuck in just not trusting or backing yourselves. Yeah. And it's not arrogant, just back yourself with unbelievable belief. Like, you've got that, and just crack on with it. Because that goes back to this part as well, just do it.
Yeah.
This stops, it's a sort of feedback loop, right? A feedback loop. You get stuck in your own mind, you don't do it, you ask for advice, you get more advice, you ignore the advice, you go back. Before you know it, it's 4 months down the line. You haven't done anything. Yeah.
Sometimes the people that love you the most will give you the worst advice. People that want you to have a safe life, that care about you, will tell you not to put all your savings into building a business that may or may not work. But that's not their life. And that's not, you take their advice, you'll have their life. There'll be a lot of people listening now that will ask their mum or dad, what do you think of this idea? And their mum or dad say, that sounds risky. I don't think you'll make any money out of that.
Yeah.
And what do they know? Have they actually done it before?
Yeah.
And plus, they maybe had a career and they could buy a house. They had a different time. So their advice is out of date.
Crazy.
So what was the sixth thing you learned?
Seek uniqueness at every opportunity. I think, again, going back to, the point above, this day and age, you've got to be unique at every opportunity. As we said earlier, it's easier than ever to make a product. It's harder than ever to make it successful. And the only thing doing that, or sort of differentiating those two paths, is uniqueness, marketing, brand. But that all falls down to being unique. You can't be the same as everyone else anymore.
Being unique is a really fascinating subject to me because Nike wasn't that unique initially compared to Reebok. And they were losing to Reebok. What made them unique was their execution. Not the shoe. The concept of shoe wasn't new. The concept of a running shoe wasn't new.
Yeah.
They did a deal with Michael Jordan, I think. And that made them unique.
100%.
They made a shoe with an athlete.
Yeah.
I think this be unique thing, there's many different ways to do it. It doesn't want to get confused with the product itself necessarily has to be unique. But I think when people are building business, they don't think about this. And this is really, really interesting.
And as you said, it wasn't just, yes, the product is relatively unique in the space. It does look different. There's a bit of, I guess, spice to the way it looks. But no one's done what we've done in terms of the website is just garish and quite a lot. It's ooh, but it's what we are, it's who we are. It's not trying to purposely be unique. It's just not trying to fit in for the sake of fitting in.
All right, I'm going to pass the pen to you.
Yeah.
I want you to be as honest as you can be about what you're thinking about next and what you're struggling with, and we'll try to help.
One is the cash flow. Basically, this is it's product versus cash.
Right. So for those that don't know what this is basically about, because it's really interesting and important if you're going to build a business for you to also just grasp this. You'll make the product, which all your cash leaves to make that product. And then people buy the product slowly over time. It depends on how lucky you are and how quick the sales are. But eventually all your product gets sold out. And then you get paid the money. And then you have money again to give to the manufacturer, who will then spend 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever, to make the product again for it to come back into your system, right? So when you're talking about cash flow, you're talking also about product flow, right?
That's what we're really struggling with at the moment is having the ability to pay up front, also manage any sort of outgoings, like Sophie's now salary, which is terrifying, but then getting stock in to then make more money. Because what's happening now is we're making probably half the revenue just having one product sold out of the two.
Frustrating.
Really frustrating.
So I'm going to talk about my solutions.
Yeah.
Some of them I know you have now actioned, but just for the audience to know, right? So the dumb answer instantly, out of the many ways you can deal with this, the dumb answer is get an investor. Now that's the one that most people will be thinking about when they're listening to this. Well, just get an investor.
Yeah.
But the equity in your business is the most valuable thing you've got. But in the early days, it's seen as the easiest way to raise money.
Yeah.
It is actually the dumbest way to raise money. Dragon's Den has really hurt people. Shark Tank has really hurt people thinking this is the way to raise money. It is the most expensive way in the long run to raise money. I've been advising you not to take investors, even though I've offered to invest, right? Just for everyone to know, I've offered to invest. But I've also warned you of the downside of having an investor.
You're super transparent about that.
Well,
because I was honestly, when I first started Sult, I was speaking to every investor because I thought that's what you had to do. You've got money, you get more money, and then you build a business. Whereas we've actually done it the opposite way, where we had money. Granted, it's a lot, but it's not a huge amount, and we've made more money to then buy more stock without needing that.
So in this sort of cash flow situation, here are the 3 or 4 different things. You have to sell to this supplier. You have to make them understand that you're going to be a big company. If they back you on cash flow, then you will forever be loyal to them and forever be a partner with them. Now, I know it's not as easy said than done because some people are just but I also warned you about their future relationship with them.
Yeah.
You cannot work with if they're not willing to back you.
That's the biggest issue of product businesses, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're always reliant on them.
So sell harder to your suppliers, find a supplier that will work with you. The third thing I think is outside income. Now you're lucky, I say lucky, you made this luck happen, but you had a consultancy business. So you were able to do a bit of consultancy, but that takes up too much of your time as you get deeper into this. But I think outside money, so for example, a brand sponsor makes a lot of sense. Now I know you've just secured BT.
First one.
Right, well done. But this is very possible as well. Like brands will want this product, like Virgin Airlines, other brands, they generally do like if they hadn't already done it with someone else.
Yeah.
You've got to approach them. I do think for a lot of the time, what you've done, however, I just want to reiterate for people listening, just start though. If you've only got 10 grand to buy 10 grand's worth of product, and then you have to wait 3 or 4 weeks for the money to come in and then pay for the next, so what? Wait, do it. Because it's better to have the sales cycle.
100%.
And sure, customers are going to wait. By the way, scarcity is a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to wait.
I mean, that was one of the biggest, I want to say like the growth in our company was when we started out the first time, when we relaunched Salt, we did one of the best months ever. It's because people, it's the perception of scarcity, it's demand. People want what they can't have. And then we launched again. They're like, bang, 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 bang. And so I think it's how you frame it as well. It's the marketing behind why you've sold out. Okay, sweet. It's because that many people want it.
Second problem.
Yeah. So second problem is retail opportunities. So basically, when is the right time to do it? Because obviously retail, the hammer margin.
Why do you need to be in retail? Why can't you be this brand?
Hydration is moving at such a fast pace where the brands who are sort of omni-channel across numerous different ways to buy a product, they're the ones who are going to win. And yes, it's glamorous being online, but it's difficult with the marketing, the acquisition costs, all that kind of stuff. When if you're in retail and you have the both online and in store, you also have the peripheral touch points of being in store where people see you. And it becomes more of a credible brand.
This all links together with cash flow a bit. There's one question of like, when should you go into retail?
Yeah.
But the real question is, you don't have the cash flow to go into retail because the retail model is very cash flow negative.
Yeah.
I would wait for as long as possible before you have to go into retail. That being said, and people will be listening to this that will be like, oh my God, you don't want to miss the opportunity. You don't listen to Simon. I think patience is a very important part of building a business. One way, you wait, but also you could wait for the perfect conditions. So what are the perfect conditions? Perfect conditions could be a retailer buys the product in bulk from you. Now, if you're a big enough brand, they might do it. They want sales and they want to make profit from sales.
Yeah.
If they think your brand is really like the hot on social, most of these retailers have such bad social. They can see it as a way of driving traffic to store.
We had a chat last week with a really big retailer, which is quite cool. And that was the plan, to potentially be a marketing arm for them to then give us better terms.
Totally. So I think it's worth having a chat with all the retailers because you don't need them at the moment. And you can build up through direct to consumer, which by the way, the margin is better and it's actually quicker.
Yeah, and all the data as well.
Right. You instantly get paid from Shopify. Yeah. This is actually a different business model.
Yeah.
I think you're in a position where you can play a game. I'd meet them all. I'd talk it up. I'd let them to make offers. I know retail feels glamorous. I think retail thinks social's glamorous. I think social is the new glam. If you can sell on TikTok Shop and you can sell through Shopify, I actually think that's more sexy in the future. It's instant. I see it, I buy it. Whereas retail, you're competing with a whole shelf full of people. People listening that know retail better than me are going to give you different advice. Let's quickly ring Josh. I want to see what he says and see if his advice contradicts with mine. He's going to talk about retail, I think, in a different context.
Hello, mate.
Yo. Oh, mate, we're making a video about Sult. And I'm calling a friend. He asked me, should I go into retail and when? We thought, why don't we ring the guy that actually knows? What do you think? When should someone like Sult go into retail? How do you look at retail?
I mean, do you know what? The biggest mistake we ever made was going into retail too early. If I could go back in time, it's the biggest mistake that we ever made because, do you know what? So many people said that you only really get one chance to do it, and which I actually don't believe in because I actually think you can come back from it. But the proving rate of sale is really difficult, especially a challenger brand. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is that these national retailers, they actually don't give a about challenger brands. They don't. They just care about rate of sale and churn. And I think it's very difficult as a small brand to get hundreds of thousands of people to just go in and buy your product. Listen, we've seen through D2C, through Amazon and Ocado, we've seen so much more reward. I mean, we will sell in a month on Amazon what we probably sold in Tesco for like 3 years. Yeah. So I think the best time to do it is when you've got like proper national awareness. Like if I look at Trip and Dash as two drink brands, they've only really just gone into retail and they did it right. You know, they built up their D2C platform for years and then they kind of did it when the time was right. So I think you've got to give it at least like a few years. Like I would say like when sort of you've got mass distribution across the whole country.
Our advice is matching. your experience is 100 times more than mine, but I pretty much said the same thing. I was just double checking. Appreciate you, buddy.
Hang on, mate.
Thanks for helping us. I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything. So that good to call a friend. Josh Can of Water sold 100 million cans of water. 100 million. So it was good. I'll call him to help Henry. Third problem, tell me.
Third problem is scaling. So growing the brand.
Right. And where do you want to grow the brand to?
So at the moment, we're obviously 95% UK. We get a few European orders. There are some in the US, but we really feel there's a huge opportunity for the US.
Yes.
Our brand looks brilliant in terms of like the US model and how it sits in that sort of space, in the hydration space. When is the right time for us to go?
All right. I think this is a question a lot of people are going to ask in their business later. Do you know what's interesting about doing this? If you think of starting a business, you want to know what the problems in the future could be so you can plan ahead. An example of this is a very good example. So my philosophy on this sort of thing is if you find the right partner, scale.
Yeah.
So the way I look at something like the US, you're in the UK, you know the UK, you are winning in the UK, you are going to be a dominant force in the UK. I'm 100% sure of it. But you need to stay focused on it.
Yeah.
Now, the US is a different animal.
Yeah.
And it is a big opportunity. What I would say is like, okay, who's been successful in the US and can you partner with them?
Yeah.
And I would start having conversations. And if you find the right partner, let's say, for example, Can of Water. They're in the US.
Yeah.
Now, who's the partner that can take you there? I think partnerships are really underrated. So I've just launched Help Bank in the US. It took me 2 years to find the right partner. And the right partner is just one person. It's not as hard as it sounds. It's finding that one person that can help it happen. I'm going to introduce you to a guy I know who actually built a big business in the US and see if he can help you with this. But all you'd really do if you were listening and you were learning and not having me giving you a contact is on LinkedIn. Go look at the brands that are doing well in the US and go on LinkedIn and see who's behind them.
Yeah.
And then reach out back to asking. Yeah. Everything we've taught at the beginning of this video all interlinks, right? Yeah. I would wait until you got the right partner or you're so financially strong that you can go there. Now, I know people that have gone to the US in this category. I've invested in a business that you know well, that is your competitor. And I think I back founders and I don't want to get into the politics of it. But they went to the US and it failed.
Yeah.
And it's public. He said it publicly.
Yeah.
And the part of it is because they didn't have the right partner.
Yeah.
And they underestimated the size of the market. The market is so huge. And so I think go there with a partner. In the meantime, go there on holiday, take the product, make content. You can get orders from the US from here. So just see how that plays out. If you start getting a lot of orders from the US, you can open up a distribution hub. You don't need to go hardcore, spending time.
So go gently and then go hard.
I would keep the marketing. Social media, 60% of my audience is in America.
Yeah.
Probably half the people watching this YouTube video will be in America. Now, can they go into the link below and buy the product? Yeah, they can. So you're not really hurting your sales.
Yeah.
You just maybe it's back to retail.
Yeah.
And an element of ego.
It's so much of it's so interlinked, which you don't really think about. You always think about stuff so separately. When actually, if you get a whiteboard, explain it, it's actually all involving in one another. Yeah, if that makes sense.
I hope you got some value from this. Henry is someone you want to follow personally. You want to follow Sult. The links are down below. You want to support his business. Go buy some products. We're off to have some chicken now. You hungry?
Very hungry.
Let's do it.